Judge Mo, we've got Ugo, and we've got Ronin as well on the show with us. Let's start bringing everybody out to have their say. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, one and all. I'm going to go to David first today. Taking the lead, but a very disappointing performance overall. What did you make of it, bro?
We just seem scared. I don't know why. And it's really got to me because we were 1-0 up and we were controlling that game. And then we just sat in. And we are not the team that has the ability to sit in and hold to a 1-0 lead. I'm so confused. We should have made it 2-0. I know Palmer slightly overhits the pass, but I still think Jackson should at least get a shot off. I don't care if it's slightly overhit. At least hit it with your left foot. Like, come on, you're a striker. And then after that, it's just we make one mistake and we make 8 mistakes. And it's just mistake after mistake after mistake. I honestly don't know what's going on. The game is bad. The season's not. So I'm not in that branch yet where I'm going, get rid of this manager, blah, blah, blah. But today there are serious questions because I'm not someone who is going to allow my team to be scared of other teams. Because we were better than them for the first half an hour, I felt like. And then afterwards it was just fell apart. I felt again like Marmoush came into the game and I thought he was quite good in the first half. In the second half, I didn't really hear much from him. I thought Reece James handled him pretty well in the second half. So it's a weird one because City, again, fair play to City, they're a great side and they were by far the better side today. But I'm still looking at my manager saying, we've got to learn how to kill games off. And that's not even just been a Maresca issue. That's been a Chelsea issue for I think probably about 7 or 8 years now, where we go 1-0 up or 2-0 up. And when we need to get the third or when we need to get the second, we just don't do it. And it just needs to be sorted out. So if you do need to go and get a big striker, go and get a big striker. However, scout him. Don't just sign Lukaku because, he's big and he scores goals. No, look for who actually fits the system. And get a new goalkeeper because that man in goal, my genuine belief is that even though our defenders are not great, they are worse because they're worried every single time the ball goes behind them. Every single time the ball's in the air or the ball's like there's a ball playing over the top and they've got to chase after it, they're worried what Sanchez is even going to do. What is he doing on that third goal? Like it's so mad that he made another mistake. We haven't talking about the first mistake in the first half when he just palmed it out into the middle of the goal and was like, what am I going to do? He literally pushed it into 2 City players. And it's just like
the mistake. The mistake for Haaland's goal. We all play FIFA. I've started playing it again recently. You know, when you up the levels, so whether you're playing someone online who's really good or you suddenly go to... I tried playing a game at Legendary the other day. And, you know, like often when you're on the lower levels, you can make your goalie rush out and it often stops the other team from scoring. But once you get to a certain level, once that goalie leaves his line, the real good players just punish you. And that's what it reminded me of. And when he was standing there at the edge of the box sort of doing this, I'm thinking, it's a goal. It's just how I have. It's one of the worst mistakes I've ever seen in my life.
He ran out. He ran out to get to the ball. Fine. If you don't get there, you don't get there. Why did he stand on the edge of the box for 5 seconds? What was he doing? He just stood there and was like, well, I'm going to stop it somehow. Like, of course, he's just going to kick it over your head. Like, what are we doing? He's a terrible goal. He's honestly one of the worst goalkeepers in the... I'd rather have Kepa in there. I've got to the stage. I'd rather have Kepa. It's that bad.
He's worse than he is worse than Kepa. He really is. He's genuinely worse than Kepa.
5 errors leading to goals in 22 games. Even though Nana's not that bad. This is what we're talking about. 5 errors. He's averaging an error every 4 games.
So do you believe that Chelsea would have won the game if Sanchez didn't make the mistake?
No, even still, like regardless of that question, he's adding to the pressure. If you're 2-1 down, and you know Sanchez's mistake hasn't led to a goal yet, it's probably gonna come. You're under even more pressure than you were before.
Okay, so your manager at 1-1 at the Etihad decided to play a high line against the quick Erling Haaland and quick.
I've already said about Maresca. Was that not the first thing I addressed? I said,
Yeah,
why?
I get that Sanchez made a mistake. Goalkeepers make mistakes as well.
Mo, it's not goalkeepers make mistakes. He's made five errors leading to goals in 22
and I get it.
games. It's unacceptable, bro.
But hold on. Let me give you my analysis of this. Very simple. And Chelsea fans need to hear this. The Sanchez errors or the Sanchez deficiency is easy solvable. If the board goes tomorrow and sign a good goalkeeper, that is solvable. It's finished, right? That is done. The problem when I'm looking at Chelsea is how the managers sometimes approaches games. At 1-1, I thought you would still try to play on the transition, not a high line. Pep Guardiola mixed it up. Pep Guardiola mixed it up.
Yeah, Mo, can I just say we're going to come on to the man. I just want to keep it on Sanchez for a moment. We're going to come on to the manager. It's one of the real talking points today. Now, I do hear you. Matty, and the rest of the Chelsea fans shooting on Sanchez, is it getting to a point now, Matty, where it's more on Maresca for picking him and continuing to do the sort of oversee this madness as opposed to him being a bad keeper? Because Matty, how much more criticism can Chelsea fans give? What more can you say until it becomes the manager / head coach's problem?
It already is the head coach's problem because he continuously picks him. It's also based on ability. If a manager had a proper talent ID, he'd be watching this goalkeeper constantly. He has made that many mistakes. It's incredible. The very fact that, I looked at like the worst goalkeepers in Premier League history, right? We've got one on our books, right? Kepa, Karius, David James, Tahibi, Onana, Bosnich, De Gea had his moments. I would take Kepa back now because Kepa has been absolutely solid for Bournemouth. And you look at Sanchez now, right? People are questioning Onana, right? I look at Onana and I think he was first team in Ajax and Inter Milan. So there's probably a confidence issue or there's a defensive issue or there's a coaching issue somewhere. Sanchez was second rate at Brighton. And he was never in the first team. He never really played that many minutes. So when I look at this board, I have to question the board as well. What were you thinking? What were you thinking paying over the odds for this goalkeeper and then making him number one? I cannot believe we're having this conversation. And I'll tell you this now. If we have got Sanchez next season, all Chelsea fans, clip me if you want to, we ain't getting top 4 next season. We ain't getting Europe next year, and you can forget title hopes because he is ridiculously bad. I've never hated a goalkeeper as much. And Enzo Maresca's got to take this as well. It's his burden as well. He keeps on picking him, and he keeps on backing him. The one thing that makes me laugh is the distribution. Apparently, he's good at distributing. I've seen 4-year-olds that could kick the ball better than him. And I'm not even kidding you. He is ridiculously bad. Why aren't we starting Lucas Bergström? Or why aren't we starting the goalkeeper that we signed from Villarreal at the start of the season, which was Jorgensen? Why aren't we giving him a chance? It's constant errors again. And I'll be honest, like Sanchez, for me, he's got to go. And, I think we saw this with Klopp at the end of Karius' career with Liverpool. He kept on backing him and backing him and backing him. And hopefully he's going to kick him out the door by the end of the summer. But I don't know with these owners. I truthfully don't know with these owners because they will keep backing the same horse until eventually it loses and loses and loses. And I just think he needs to go, Sanchez. I don't care where he goes. He wouldn't get down in the pub team where I live. He's that bad.
No,
I'm sorry.
I hear you on that completely. We are going to come to Man City in a minute, V. We will, because I thought you guys deserve a lot of praise for today. Some really good performances. Mo, as a neutral, I want to ask you this question first, because you started talking about Maresca. Why did Maresca set his team up and allow them to play today with a high line, but also a lack of intensity and press, when that has been the Achilles heel of Man City week in, week out for a long time? Why was it such a disaster from the manager's approach today?
Because he couldn't actually cope with Pep. Pep mixed it up. Pep played position-based football, but he lured Maresca out. And Maresca, again, we have to repeat this. Maresca is still a naive coach. He's still a young coach. He doesn't have the experience of Pep Guardiola. And Pep Guardiola literally just played the guy. He's like, I'll let you have the position in a bit. You can't come out. I'll play direct. How many times, as you mentioned, I was listening to you. You said how many times Marmoush ran behind that line the first half, even though the stats might show you that Pep Guardiola's team tried to have position, but he would lure Chelsea out, and Maresca would fall for it. That is the difference between an experienced coach and for all the Chelsea fans, by the way, that wanted Poch out. And I'm just not saying that Poch was better than this. But that's what you get with a new manager. Arteta used to make these mistakes when he's young. Inzaghi back at Lazio used to make these mistakes. Non-experienced manager will approach games like this. They would think that Pep Guardiola is under pressure. Yes, we're under pressure. How many times you see Man City players refuse to move the ball forward, waiting for the Chelsea press, luring the Chelsea press to go and be all of them out and leaving one-on-one at the back with Erling Haaland? He wanted it. He did it to Arteta 2 seasons ago when he won 4-1 against him, and he did it today against Maresca. And my problem is that Chelsea fans expected... Maresca is very good in setting up his team forward. Chelsea created abundance of chances, right? And Maresca is a good coach, but he's inexperienced. And again, Chelsea are being used as a guinea pig. He's learning on the job, and you will have these games. That is what you're going to get. You will have these games in. And Maresca... to be honest, he needs to learn from this. And Chelsea fans need to be a little bit... If you want, you have to be a little bit patient with this guy, because you'll have these games with him where he's been out-coached, out-tacticked by the opposition, and he's not going to be able to read the game well. That is Maresca in a nutshell. You have a manager that doesn't have 2 years of experience. I'm sorry. He just has 1 year experience in the championship and 1 year with Parma. That's his big job. And he's going against one of the best managers ever. So he was out-coached. If you want to stick with him, stick with him. If you want a more experienced manager, just ask to sack him and get someone more experienced. You won't get games like this. I promise you that. More experienced manager will not fall into this trap. It's up to the Chelsea fans, to be honest with you, Terry. It's up to you guys.
Even still, we are going to have games like this. But what doesn't help on top of that is knowing that your goalkeeper is going to make an error leading to a goal. Okay. No, but Mo, it's true. There are situations when you have young managers, especially with, like, look at Arteta for an example. How many times has Arteta made mistakes in games, but his players have got him out of the mess? Do you know what I mean? But when you've got players in the team that are sat there and you know they're not dragging you out of that mess, that's when it's like...
I don't want to take over the show. There's V. I'm just going to tell you guys something. About 10 minutes earlier, 5 minutes earlier, the same ball was played and Sanchez saved it, right? So that goal was coming even if Sanchez didn't make the mistake. Haaland was one-on-one. Kulul made the mistake because of the long ball, because of the body of Haaland, and Sanchez saved it, right? So Sanchez saved one and made a bozo moment in the other. Even if Sanchez didn't make that, Maresca already set his team up to be one-on-one against Erling Haaland. He already did it. And again, and by the way, after this, it's the same mistake that happened again. It's literally the same play that Pep did against Arsenal, guys. Same thing. He did it. They left Haaland with holding at the back 2 years ago, and Haaland schooled him because that's Erling Haaland. So that goal, David, yes, Sanchez made the mistake, and he needs to go.
But we had those
that play. It just happened 10 minutes ago.
Though. We had bozo moments with Pochettino, and he was an experienced manager. So I can't really understand what, I think it's more down to players as well, rather than just management. But I think individual errors cost us today. It wasn't just how Maresca's at fault for picking the same individuals constantly, but I don't think it's all about just experience alone. I think it's also about, the individuals.